Lou Thesz faithfully defended his world heavyweight championship.
Rogers strut. Kowalski's got him right where he wants him.
Dory Funk Jr. wanting that world heavyweight championship.
10 pounds of pure gold.
Simon Felder's Dusty Rhodes has just become the world heavyweight wrestling champion.
Presenting the greatest organization in wrestling history.
We always deliver on our promises at the National Wrestling Alliance.
Yeah, but pretty hard, and look at what are you going to work now? Oh!
Hey everybody, it's Sturger Time. Thank you for joining me once again for another episode of NWA, the Dynasty. We are here for another episode of Worldwide. We are heading down towards our next pay-per-view of Cody Mania, which is exciting. And we still have to decide. We have about a month left to decide what we're going to do with our television deal. And I think I'm siding with the idea of jumping over to Fight TV. I think might not be a bad option. It's still within our potential choices here. Internet subscriptions, less than ideal, but is something that might be beneficial to us. It's larger than what we're on right now. Still a subscription service, so revenues are not going to be the best. Still going to be on demand, but they're highly pro wrestling. Mav TV is smaller than that, but also on cable, so we might get a slight bump of revenue. But there's a whole bunch of caveats and restrictions that come from that, including having to decrease the time of our show, and probably are not going to get a great. I'd actually be curious what even. I don't even think it'll show us unless we lowered the show. I'd be curious to see. Let's do that real quick. I'm curious to see what exactly we'd get for a 1 hour show, which is, I'm assuming, what they would want. Though, actually, now that I say that, let's check if they would do a 1.5 hour. Not sure if that necessarily would change anything for us, but might be something that is beneficial to us. We'll have to take a look. Let's see here. You know, an extra half hour can help if they're even willing to do it. If they're not, that's a big no, I think. Yeah, they're not even willing to do an hour and a half. We would have to cut our show down to a single hour. That massively cuts our ability to grow our roster, tell our stories. That's rough. That's just rough completely. Going to an hour, we could take a look and see what exactly that looks like in terms of where they would put us on their broadcast. But I have a suspicion it's not a very good placement. So let's take a look. They would not be willing to do late evening. They would not be willing to do late night. Certainly not going to be willing to do prime time. Not willing to do evening. Not willing to do early evening. Oh, actually, sorry, they would be willing to that, but not for that long. So only early evening, afternoon, or graveyard. I mean, early evening is not the worst. I believe that's like probably like a 6 p.m. slot. In terms of revenue, not a lot here. 45% would be going to us. Not the worst, honestly. It's not a terrible slot, and it's better than on demand. But that comes with the caveat of having to massively decrease the size of our show, thus a lot less people on it, thus a lot more unhappy workers, slower momentum gain on people, but slightly higher revenue. And I don't know which I like more, to be honest. So that is that's a problem. That's something we have to kind of figure out about. At the very least, I feel like it's a no-brainer to move the Fight TV over IWTV. It's the same thing, but better. So it will be an improvement for us no matter what. The question really is, do we make the jump and make the concessions to go to MAV TV? Is it worth the money? And maybe, I hazard to say it's going to be a popularity game. Probably would be, but probably not as much as I'm thinking, because it is a tinier broadcaster than Fight TV, even though on-demand slot is pretty much the worst. You're only getting people that are, interested in watching you. So it's hard to say. I'll be interested in seeing what you guys think in the comments. Anyways, with that all out of the way, we have another show to run. So let's go ahead and let's go on over to Worldwide. All right, guys, we're back, and holy crap, the retirements will not stop ending. Just so many people have just retired since simming this over, including Dave Laguna, Eric Bischoff's retired, Ted DiBiase Sr.'s retiring, Carlito retired, Earl Hebner retired, Joe Soprano, Tyrus retired, Ken Shamrock retired, DDP retired, Vince Russo retired. Like, I don't know what's going on in the save, but everybody over 50 is just dropping out. It's very, very bizarre. I don't think I've seen this in a save in a while, which is very interesting, which is fine. I mean, for the most part, none of this is really going to affect us. Carlito no longer being available for in-ring action may. We could try to talk to him and see if he's willing to do like another run, but I can't imagine. I'm not willing to do it. So certainly, he's a member of the Clone Dynasty. We're going to want to make sure that he is managing both of them, I think. Certainly can still act as a personality. I believe he's set for personality. We should probably set him as a personality, just to make sure that he can kind of do that. And we can go ahead and go to these guys here and make sure that Carlito is managing them. That way, we have we have him still involved in sort of their work, which is fine. Not the most ideal situation, but certainly not the end of the world in the grand scheme of things. Carlito's a good competitor. Well, I would not necessarily say I had major plans for him or the Clone Dynasty. They were going to be kind of good hands to fit in when we needed like a good mid-card, upper mid-card heel feud with some faces. Certainly, though, with the Clones still present in the tag team scene and him there as a mouthpiece, it doesn't change that much. It just reduces our potential to do a singles feud, which is a kind of a bummer because I had a couple in mind that I thought would be fun going forward in the future, but maybe we can convince them to come out of it for one more time at some point. But right now, that's not going to be the case. Anyways, let's go to the show. All right, once again, we got to remember to put the correct wrestling venue on. We paid money for this. My God, we're going to select the correct venue. We're expecting 244 fans, a little bit less than last time, but that's fine. We do have a backstage incident. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Looks like some Arn Anderson shenanigans. Improving the locker room. Set up a waffle bar for everybody and cook. That's nice of them. And then I'm assuming some protege work here between Robert Gibson and Jordan Oliver. Yep. Nothing bad. I don't think we have... Oh, we do have some negative personality, so we're going to go ahead and use the open forum. Some people are irritated they were left off a show. So we will allow them to get a little happy from that. I'm assuming that's what it is. Irritated, left off the show. Yeah, Jordan Oliver, you calm down, Jordan Oliver. Sean Hernandez, I thought, yeah, okay, whatever. Just still be upset. That's fine. I don't think our morale's that bad anywhere. The people that need to be happy are happy. I don't really care if Jordan Oliver's irritated. Not enough to throw cash at him. Same thing with Hernandez. Most of the people that are happy, most people that need to be happy are happy. I understand for the younger wrestlers, sometimes they get a little bit fidgety and they kind of want a little bit more. But I don't really have a plan for Jordan Oliver this time, to be quite frank. So, you know, best he's gonna get is Beyond the Dark shows right now. Anyways, we have a show to book. Last time we were here, we had a decent show, but not great, not like we had before. Some of that was pacing issues, unfortunately. So that we kind of know. We had a debut of Bobby Roode, kind of setting up some story between him and Tim Storm Jr. We had Allison Kay lose her time limit challenge after Dustin Rhodes interfered and had it restarted, which is kind of unfair. Eddie and Juice are building up a feud towards a street fight at the next pay-per-view. Fatu obviously is feuding with Starks. It's going to be Starks' first major challenger as television champion. And NWA, or the NWA, the New Horsemen, obviously just being dominant right now. We don't really have a good competitor for them yet, and we kind of need to figure that out. And I think that's going to be a focus this week, is to try to figure out who in the next 2 weeks is facing them. Don't know yet. We kind of have to figure out where that makes sense. So definitely something that we're going to try to prioritize on this show to try to see if we can kind of make that start to work and happen. Anyways, catch you guys on the flip for Worldwide. Alright guys, we have a full card, 125 minutes, and 2 pre-show matches. This is a little bit of a lighter match show, a little bit more storylines, and we're trying to kind of build towards that pay-per-view. So, you know, keep that in mind. We didn't take any penalties or anything like that, but also, I think this is going to be a pretty highly scored show. We will see. I'm pretty happy with what this looks like. Let's go ahead and let's get into it. So pre-show match number 1 is Breeze and Sleaze, members of Smoking Aces. We've kind of had it on the back burner. We got to kind of have a storyline for them going forward. So for now, just keeping them relevant a little bit, giving them a match, and letting them win against Warhausen. Ziggy Dice gets the win, because sort of the pet project here is to get Ziggy Dice into sort of an upper mid-carder slot. So giving Ziggy Dice... Oh boy, I can't talk today. Giving Ziggy Dice the win here with the Malibu Sleaze is probably the best move. This match is actually pretty okay. Everybody's about even, so not much to say about it. It's not really a developmental match. It's just to keep them all relevant. Same situation. We have a faces versus heels exhibition, 6-woman match. It's not much, but we haven't had Jamie Hayter on a while. We haven't had Kota Kai or Thunder Rosa on for a while, or Ali Catch, so giving them something to do in the dark show just to build some stuff up, keep them relevant, keep them on the show is important. This match does very well as 60. Not much to say about it. Again, Jamie Hayter's another one that we kind of have on an off season now that she kind of lost her next run. As we kind of go and develop, I think after Cody Mania, we're going to do a women's tag scene, or maybe a women's trios, and actually hire a couple more women. I like the idea of doing, as we had talked about before, I like having our alliance titles be sort of the big titles, and then have our specialty titles be the ones that are exclusive to us. And I don't like to just have duplicates. So, we don't have a women's tag in our alliance, so I'm cool with that, but I wouldn't want a television tag or something like that, or 2 tags. I'm also down with the idea of having like a trios title, but maybe it being like the women's trios title, and then build up like stables for the women more than we have for the men, and have to give them more opportunities to kind of be involved in storylines other than just for the titles. I kind of like that idea, but it also is going to involve a slight increase to the roster. Let me know if you guys are interested in that, or you think we should go for just a tag title. But this is sort of kind of building up the basis of that here as we go into Cody Mania. Starting the show off proper, we have a fantastic opener with a promo. This is a back and forth promo. Remy Zayn comes out to start the show. In this, he's talking about how ashamed he is about what happened at NWA Legacy, how he felt betrayed at the words Kevin Steen said last week. He says that Kevin and I have a complicated past, but I truly thought he was my friend. I still think he's my friend. Kevin, I never wanted to be an anchor around your neck, but I also don't think I was either. You know, I strive to put my heart and soul into everything I've done, and maybe my career didn't head down the same road that we both thought it would, but that journey isn't done. Steen comes out to counter him on the mic. The two go back and forth a little bit, but Kevin Steen basically tells him he needs to cut the act, because he knows for a fact that Remy always felt he was better than Kevin, and that Remy abandoned him at the first chance he got, and only decided to lean on him when his career wasn't going in the direction they wanted. He says that their friendship ended over 10 years ago in Pasadena. Remy disagrees. He wants to rekindle that friendship, and Steen is just not interested. There's a deep resentment and anger in words that Kevin Steen says. Ultimately, though, it's said that there's a match set for tonight between Steen and Zayn. Can they all set it aside? We'll see. Gets the crowd hotter, gets the crowd off to a strong start. The color commentary struggled to handle this, and we start the show off with a 71. I'm sure it'll go down from there, but not bad. Speaking of going down from there, we lead into another promo, which I probably should have a match in between this, but another promo. Von Erichs come out to the ring with their dad. Kevin and crew say that, you know, they respect what the New Horsemen have been doing. But the Von Erichs were dominant champions for years in NWA, and they're ready to re-challenge for the title once again. But they're interrupted during their little promo, not by the New Horsemen, but by the Killer Elite Squad. The Notorious Duo reunite. Obviously, Lance and Davey Boy Smith Jr. were in the our round robin tournament, the Strongman Memorial Champion tournament. As singles competitors, they've reunited as the Killer Elite Squad here. Lance and Davey Boy Smith stare down the Von Erichs and just start laughing. They grab a mic and they say that the Von Erichs are minor league champs at best, and that they were tag champions in a land where iron truly sharpened iron. The two end up setting out a challenge for tonight. Face them. The winners will face the New Horsemen at Cody Mania for the titles. Lance looked great, got the crowd hotter. Very good overall. 44 is as best as we were going to probably get with the Von Erichs here, unfortunately. But we set up a challenge here. And then we have our first match of the night. It's an exhibition match against the brand new debuting Bobby Roode with Colby Corino. Poor Colby does not get a break here, as he gets a rather quick defeat at 14 minutes with a Fujiwara armbar. Bobby has a 57 in-ring performance. It's actually a little low compared to what I thought he would have. I thought he was going to be in the mid-60s, but that's kind of interesting. Colby had a 50. Wondering if there's any penalties here for Bobby. Penalties holding back, declining physical ability, and so maybe they were just holding back a little bit because it wasn't an important match. So overall, good debut match here. 59's not too bad. And of course, we gain heat for Bobby's return. As Bobby's leaving, he sees that Tim Storm Jr. was watching from the sidelines. Bobby had obviously kind of like taunted him a little bit, let's say. You know, Storm Jr. was like, I'm a big boy, and I don't need anybody, and I'll go beat you. And of course, Bobby Roode came in at that moment and just kind of was like, yeah, kid, no. So we're obviously leading towards a confrontation between the two of them, as Tim Storm has a true challenge on his hands, and he's kind of scouting him out, and there's fear in those eyes a little bit, you know, that gruff and tough Tim Storm Jr. isn't there anymore. He sees Bobby Roode and he's like, oh crap. And Bobby just kind of points at him, you know, just sees him, acknowledging him. He's like, yeah, I see you. And walks past them. So obviously we're going to build up something here. We have another week to do it if we want to turn this into a match at Cody Mania. So certainly something to work into. We could also wait and let it kind of brew, but we'll have to see kind of where we go from there. Gets a 59. It's actually pretty good. Also, very good segment. We have Cody Rhodes backstage. He is ranting at a camera, holding the title along his shoulder, and he says, Kevin Steen, I brought you into this company with a simple phone call, but not to use you, okay? But because I like you. I've always thought the world of you, Kevin, and I thought you had what it takes to be truly great. I'd gladly share the stage with you, and you deserve any title in this company. But not this one, as he slaps the world title around his shoulder. This is mine. This is for the family. I'm the head of the family, and Daddy eats first. You betrayed my trust. You came after me as I offered kindness. Perhaps you were mistaken of who I am now versus who I was when you knew me. It's been a long time since we shared a ring. Understand that I do not forgive easily anymore. I certainly don't forget. He ushers the cameraman away. Cody Rhodes sending out a threat to Kevin Steen here, saying, Daddy eats first. You have anything in my fiefdom, but not my crown. So interesting. Gain heat for the Running with the Bulls story here. Apparently Brandy Rhodes was beside him, just going, yeah. And they had good chemistry. Gets a 77, a fantastic promo segment. Not much. I would expect nothing less. In a match that's better than I thought it would be, Delilah Doom, who's now all healed up, has a match with Kimber Lee, defeats Kimber Lee in 12 minutes by submission, trying to gain some heat for the story, build Delilah Doom up further. Her in-ring performance leaves something to be desired, we'll say. But overall, we ended up with a fairly decent match. Afterwards, though, Kimber Lee, raging at the loss, decides to now brutalize Delilah Doom, attacking her repeatedly with the end of a chair to attempt to re-injure that tailbone. And Delilah Doom is forced to be carried out by medical as we kind of continue this short feud that got kind of a delay. So kind of trying to build this back up. This doesn't do very great. We actually lose heat for our storyline here. Juice Robinson is walking backstage and is jumped by Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston just kind of pulls his shirt up, blinds him, and just starts thudding on him on his back and beating him up, throwing him against the wall and leaving him on the ground. Eddie's had enough of Juice's nonsense, called out Street Justice. We know we're going to have a match building up towards Cody Mania, and Juice is now kind of on the receiving end of some punishment here. We gain some heat for the storyline. This does pretty well to 59. We have the Killer Elite Squad versus Devon Erickson, a match that's actually pretty good. 57's better than I thought it would be. We actually gain heat for our storyline too. Probably to a shock of nobody. Killer Elite Squad defeat Devon Eriks at 14 minutes. Lance Archer pins Ross Von Eriks with a killer bomb. Lance, of course, carrying the entire match, though. Davey Boy Smith Jr. is no slouch either at 55. Devon Eriks have a lot to learn, but they're okay. They're not bad, but they're not at the same level as the Killer Elite Squad. And, of course, this got the crowd buzzing here. So, overall, really good match. This, of course, means that the Killer Elite Squad will be facing off with the New Horsemen at Cody Mania for the titles. A challenge, to say the least, for the New Horsemen if they are able to retain. Afterwards, KES start to brutalize Devon Eriks in the ring. The Horsemen come out to help make the save because they're the good guys. They help fend off the KES. The KES kind of just walk away after kind of doing their damage to the Von Eriks, and Pillman and Brock Anderson help the Von Eriks up and just try to kind of get them out of the ring. We lose some heat here. It's not a very good, because there's just a wild variety of stuff going on here. It's probably not too shocking, but we kind of, again, trying to build up that feud as we continue with the New Horsemen here. We have a promo that's pretty okay overall. 51's pretty solid. Ramona Riot, she's got a backstage interview. She says that she will be challenging. One of the things, I need to find somebody that's a good backstage interviewer. I got to look for a personality they can use, because they can really probably help some of these segments a little bit more. Something I don't utilize a lot, and I probably should. So I'm on the quest to look for someone that's available that can do a good microphone work with Ramona here and build them up. In this backstage interview, she says that obviously she's now going to be challenging for the women's title at Cody Mania. And she talks about Allison Kay, and she says, I'm not afraid of Allison Kay. And she says that action speaks louder than words. All my life, she says, I've dealt with people like her. People assume a lot based on how you look and act. But there's one thing I've found is that people like her, people who put on this big appearance and put up barriers on others, it's not due to pride or strength. It's always due to fear. Allison Kay fears me, fears challenge, fears losing. Allison Kay has not had a challenger like me before. And come Cody Mania, it's time to humble her. So Ramona's calling her shot, saying, I'm going to win this title. Allison Kay just puts up these barriers, these little 10-minute challenges, these little ways to try to prevent talent from succeeding. And maybe she's won a bunch of her matches, but maybe Ramona's got her number here. That's sort of what she's trying to do here. It's 51. It's not too bad. We have an exhibition match between Jacob Fatu versus Nick Aldis. Poor Nick Aldis. This match doesn't do as good as I thought it would. I'm assuming we burnt out the crowd again, which is possible. Stamina penalties, maybe. And then we didn't have a storyline really associated with it. So it kind of hurt a little bit. It does have a storyline. I probably should have just forced it, because this obviously is part of Fatu's rise here. It had superb wrestling. It had good heat. Jacob Fatu defeats Nick Aldis in 11 minutes by pinfall. Not much to say about it. It's about what you would expect. Poor Nick Aldis can't catch a break here. Fatu's been running through everybody. Afterwards, he starts to just brutalize Aldis. This is the night of beatdowns, and Jacob Fatu obliges gladly and starts attacking Nick Aldis. Ricky Starks comes out to make the assist, but is demolished by Fatu as well. Nick Aldis and Starks have had kind of this weird friendship bonded over the tournament, and Ricky Starks comes out to kind of reciprocate that friendship a little bit, and gets punished for it. But Fatu is looking incredibly dominant and is really trying to gun for the title that he felt that was stolen from him. And he's it's pretty good. Not much to say about it other than 54, pretty okay. Should have advance this Ricky Starks storyline. Kind of curious why it didn't, but I'll have to take a look if maybe we accidentally deleted it or something. But we'll fix that in post. As we get to the main event, we have Cody Rhodes joining the commentary team to watch Remy and Kevin beat the crap out of each other. This gets a huge pop just because Cody Rhodes showed up. Not surprising. He sits down and he's going to commentate over the match and kind of give his thoughts on Steen and Remy. And we have the match, and it's pretty good. 73. Remy Zayn has 63. Kevin Steen has 78. We advance our storyline. They have great chemistry. It's shocking. It showed her performance. It's an exceptional match. And Remy defeats Kevin Steen, but by disqualification. How was it disqualified? Well, through interference. Because we find out that Cody Rhodes got out of the commentary ring at a certain point near the end, deliberately attacked Kevin Steen in front of the ref, and thus disqualifying, or actually that should have been the opposite way, shouldn't it? I think I screwed up the DQ. Should have been Kevin Steen wins, not Remy, but oh well. The match ends. Remy should not have been declared the victor. It actually should have been Kevin Steen, but I screwed up the DQ there. Because Cody should have attacked, would have needed to attack Remy for the DQ, but it shows you how often I do DQs. Either way, the match ends unsatisfyingly, which is the point of it. Cody immediately starts attacking Kevin Steen again. The two brawl, but Cody has the advantage here. He's already has suckered him and attacked him. Kevin ends up getting onto a knee just from repeated shots from the title from Cody. But Remy is kind of watching, just standing aside, not sure what to do here. He looks conflicted before he jumps in and helps his former friend. He ends up stopping Cody from ending Kevin with a final title shot across the face. He starts brawling and fighting back Cody. So we kind of see that, to Remy, Kevin's still a friend, man. You can't, they have their problems, but you can't do this kind of thing. Steen regains himself, and he begins to team with Zayn. He's assisting in a 2-on-1 brawl with Cody. Cody kind of gets pushed back, and there's a moment where kind of they stop fighting, and they're standing in the ring, just at a standstill, and Steen just turns to look at Remy, and he just pushes him away, and the two are ready to kind of fight. Cody's taking a pause and recovering, and we kind of end the show with all three tense in the ring, clearly opposed to one another, despite that sort of momentary reunion between Steen and Zayn. There's still that tension and that complicated relationship, and it's clear at this point that all three are going to need to get into the ring here to kind of solve this. Again, ends the show very well with a 78 for the segment. Got all the DQ stuff screwed up, but it really didn't matter, so I'm not too concerned about it. It was not a pivotal change in the story at all. Just that who would have technically won that match that was supposed to be a non-satisfying ending anyways. Overall, a 65, a much better show. We had a fantastic main event. Overall, actually, all across the board, we didn't really even have a stinker. Nothing that's not green. Can't complain about that. It's pretty much the best you could have asked for. A really fantastic show as we lead into our next worldwide. All right. Fans are apparently amazed by Happy Court, so it says. That's interesting. I'm assuming we had an excellent show. I could not imagine anything else. Though I don't see it here. Evil Uno on a loan. That's interesting. Oh, there it is. Last night's NWA report. Feedback was it was awesome. So, yeah, not surprising. Assuming we had a pretty good, 23,000. We're growing in viewership. So that's very good. Of course, our deal expiring with Fight, as well as I think we have only 2 more weeks left before we have to make that change for the IWTV show. And then we, of course, have all of these penalties that we have to deal with for production, and I just don't think we have the money for it. So we'll just continue to take the hits. It's fine. we'll live with it. Overall, good momentum, good movement here. We are booking it in a good way. We are at still 35. That should bump up. I think you only move up like one a month maximum anyways, so not much you can do about that. But overall, a really good show. Really happy with it. Not much else to say about it. We're moving into the next Worldwide, and then we got Cody Mania in 11 days. I think we kind of built up some good stuff. And then, after that, I think it might be time for the Crockett Cup, in fact. Right after going into July. So we'll have to kind of get some temporary tag teams to kind of build up a little bit of a tag team tournament, which will be a lot of fun. Anyways, that was it for me today. If you guys are not subscribed yet, think about subscribing. Hit the notification bell to get notified when these new videos are up. Usually upload them once a week, but on random times. So the best way to know when they show up, besides bugging me on Discord, is, of course, to just get notified immediately when they show up. Thank you guys for watching as always, and I'll see you next time.